And actually, thank you, Renee. So we just ended with conflict resolution, and now we're going to go into culture and structure, which actually go very well together. I'll be honest and say that um, I'm not sure if I mentioned I was the first person in my family to go to college, which was a big deal, and that's where I, for the first time in my life, studied my own culture, my own history. My family's from El Salvador, and so I became an ethnic studies major, and it changed my life, my outlook. Up until then, I had never learned about the history of my people, and so culture and structure are really important for us to kind of really get into this work, especially if we're going to be person centered. So for today's class, what we're going to need is the following. You have the presentation slides that look like so. And I will let you know, I'll be kind of switching orders here and there, so bear with me, please. You're also going to need this lyrics from Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us. I'll explain that in a moment. And if you're not familiar with Kendrick Lamar and or They Not Like Us, there's also an LA Times article that can help guide you a little bit there. Okay. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Culture and structure. All right, so here we go. So as we think about this training, culture and structure are essential to really meeting the diverse needs of our people. And what I love about when we get to this class is that you all have selected your chosen name, right? Your given name was October 25 p.m. cohort, but you are from now on known as the Nightcappers, which I dig a lot. And so does the rest of the team. So thank you for that. We're gonna go right into this actually. So the welcoming we already did in the sense of gathering guidelines, and then Renee did a good job of connecting kind of how we do content, but also with the CalMESA exam. There is a method to the madness. It may not always seem that way, but there is. So I'm not going to repeat any of that. Your name as well. All right, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and we're all going to do it in the main room together. And either on a digital doc or on a notebook and paper, whatever works for you, please write down the following 2 questions. And I'm going to say them 3 times just because the processing helps. And if you want to become smarter, ask yourself questions. The brain processes differently. So here's the first question. Who are you? Second question is connected. How do you know you are who you claim to be? Who are you? How do you know who you are who you claim to be? Renee, we can put 3 minutes on the timer, please. We're just going to work on this quietly, and then we'll be brief after you all have the opportunity to kind of just write. And then you don't have to worry about spelling, punctuation, unless that's your thing. Okay. And I'll be quiet for the next 3 minutes. Renee, I actually forgot that after this, they're going to go into pairs, into breakout rooms. If you can sit up for 5 minutes, pairs.
Okay, pairs.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Oh, you just redid it. Okay,
I
got it.
just forgot about this part. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
no problem. Okay, we have him.
About another 90 seconds or so.
Okay, Alexa, stop. Time's up.
Thank you for that. Take another 30 seconds or so.
Carlos, you are my paisano.
Oh, thank you for that, Carla. And then Carla, can you translate that for those who don't speak Spanish? What does paisano mean?
Come on, come on.
That would be like I would say like the best way I can say it is you're my family because we are connected through our roots.
That's it. Yes. So I did mention that my family's from El Salvador. So Carla's saying paisano is like we have similar country of origin. So thank you for that. It's rare for me to meet people that are actually from El Salvador, especially in class. So, all right. So this is what I'm going to do next. And then, yes, Zaire, thank you for reminding me to repeat the question a third time, which I'm going to do now. So the first question is, who are you? The second question is, how do you know you are who you claim to be? By no means, wait, are you supposed to have a complete answer to this, right? 3 minutes. You're going to go into a breakout room that Renee set up with a partner. You're going to have 5 minutes. Please share the air. So split it evenly so that way you get an opportunity to discuss. And if you're not sure, that's fine as well. All right.
Okay,
And then we'll come
wonderful.
back and keep. So thank you for that. All right. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock because if not, we could be here for hours. But you all got things to do like sleep and stuff. So on that note, let's put 5 minutes. If anyone would be willing to share a little bit about what they think about the questions and or their responses. Please feel free to unmute yourself and please try to keep it like around 30-40 seconds. Go ahead, Jody. We'll start off with you.
Well, I wrote a little bit before I did it. So I wrote, I am a wife, mother, a woman. I am Jewish, not only by religion, but by cultural. My nationalities is Dutch, American, German, Romanian. I believe I have a Hungarian in me. I am these things because of my family and the way I was raised.
Thank you for that, Jody. That was beautiful. Adri, what do you got?
I put that I want to be kind and I want to I want to help people and that I want to live like Jesus. Once again, religious, no. But I know that I am those things because the people I want to do this job. I love my job. I know that I have a heart of service. I know with singing coaching, it's all of that glory is for them. It's not for me. I know I have a heart of service. And the places that I go, I know that I'm kind because when I leave those places, I'm missed. And I feel like if people miss you, then you have an impact in their life.
Oh,
Wow, beautifully said. Thank you for that, Adri. Yep,
good.
agreed. Anyone else? Go ahead, Arabella. You're on mute, my friend.
Oh, wasting time. Sorry. Um, okay. I am a fighter, a healer, a sister, a mom, an aunt, a friend, and a servant, and a child of God. I'm a lover and a care provider. Most of all, I'm a daughter of the King. My passion is to help others grow, heal, and recover. I believe that psychiatric rehabilitation is not only possible, but essential and a vital part of healing from unresolved trauma. And this isn't just what I do, it's who I am.
Wow. You're on fire, Renee. You're on fire. Thank you for that. That was beautifully said as well. Zaire, what do you have, sir?
Well, I did take my hand down. I think people writing down a dull pencil is better than sharpest mind. I should have wrote a lot of things down. So me, I'm probably a little bit older than a lot of people here, and who do I think I am? A father. I'm a son. I've only seen half of the parenthood. I haven't seen my father. I think I'm a go-getter, achiever. You know, all that being said and done, that's what I think I am. Who do I think I know? It's just in that trying time. I just gotta keep saying and keep doing those things. Thank you for listening.
I'm on mute. Thank you for that, Zaire. Raise your hand if, and just be honest, if reading these questions and trying to answer them was a bit challenging to some degree for you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Put your hands down. Raise your hands if it was easy. Just curious. You're just like, I already know. Okay. So we have a good mixture in there. Right. And You know, the beauty about peer support is that the more that we continue to peel away the layers of who we are as human beings, right, the better we'll be able to support others on their journey. So, right, so this may seem like a simple question, who are you? But if you're like, I still struggle with it, and I'm the one asking the question, right? Because there's so much layers in there, right? But these questions are important because then we can start to get to know the core of how we view ourselves and how we view other people as well. Lisa, did you want to add? Lisa, I see your hand up.
Actually, no, I couldn't see my hand up.
Okay, no worries.
I was just putting it up as I was just putting it up as to these questions were easy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Lisa, for that clarification. I appreciate it. All right,
That's why I had my hand up.
sounds good. Okay, we're gonna get into the presentation a little bit more, and then so thank you for that. And we're gonna come back to these questions as well. Okay, so hang tight. Now, for today, the idea here for your learning objectives is that you're going to be introduced to the idea of culture in recovery, right? We talked about psych rehab, right? Person-centered model, all of that, in relation to health outcomes, like we know about yesterday in trauma-informed care, right? In terms of trauma and health and all of that. You'll also learn how to work effectively within groups in your breakout rooms. We're going to focus on this idea of cultural beliefs and cultural practices. And remember, if this is new, that's okay. We don't have to know everything in terms of working with other people. We just need to be open to understanding and being receptive and honoring people's cultures and their backgrounds. We're going to get into some terminology about culture, and then we're going to practice. If there's a word that I really want you to remember from today's class, it's intersectionality. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about why. And then as peer support specialists, part of our code of ethics, and you'll see this on the exam as well, is being culturally competent. And part of being culturally competent is possessing cultural humility. Okay? Give me 1 second, Zaire. I'm going to get through some information and I'll open it to questions. Thank you. Okay. Raise your hand if you know who this person is. And if you do, you can unmute yourself. Go ahead. All right. I see Carla. All right. Good. Okay. We're going to get into this. Thank you, Charlene. And I just realized that it says his name there as well, but people may not have the face. So Kendrick Lamar, obviously musician, artist. We're going to get into him. This is just a quote for him. If I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? Notice how we're talking about what you can see, what you can experience, and then the word trust is in there. A lot of what we do as peer support specialists is about trust. All right. So this is what we're going to do next. I asked you to pull out the handout for Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us lyrics. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to show you the video. I encourage you, especially if you are not familiar with the song, to follow along with the lyrics. The lyrics are explicit. The video is going to be the radio version. And then what I'm also going to do in case you need or you want to come back to this video, here's the link in the chat. And what I'm going to do now is share it with you. Due to copyright, if you see some stuff that's blocked, that's just copyright stuff. So no need to spread about it. And once we're done with this, we'll come back and we'll discuss a little bit about what you saw. So as you're watching the music video or listening to the lyrics, keep in mind, what is the message that you're receiving? What is your takeaway? And then we'll come back. If you don't hear the sound, let me know, and then we'll take it from here. Here we go. I see dead people.
Hey, Mustard on the beat, Depot, Benny Rap. He a freak though, man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nella new to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni air? Trying to see Compton, the industry can hate me. Marlon, they mama, how many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your hot the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walking down whole time, I know he got some him. Pull on him, extort, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs. And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 that fuck him up. Wop, 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 I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us. 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 You think that they gon' let you disrespect Pop? I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop. They cold foul. I don't know why you still pretending. What is the owl? Bird, Lucas, and Bird. Go. The audience not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. Ain't there something be rest? That's for bitchin'. You Malibu most wanted. Ain't no law boy, you ball boy. Fish Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this jumping. You to get a wedgie. Be flipped over your boxes. Or over your phone. The other option. Better straighten they posture. Got famous all up in content. Might write this with a doctor. Tell a pop star quit hiding. A caption won't action. No accident. I'm hands on. He around get polished. No rain grow. He was in jail. That's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home. Y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central. Better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena. That predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. Ay, put the roll label on me. I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie. Here, 69 God. Ay, freaky. Need to stay their inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up. It's a must. We outside. Ay. They not like us. 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 Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still double down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you, this the real challenge. You caught Future when you didn't see the club. Ay, what? Lil baby help you get your lingo of. What? 21 get your first street cred. Thug makes you feel like you a slime in your head. Ay, what? Quavo said you can be from Northside. What? 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a colleague, you a colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. Here was God's plan to show y'all the liar. He a fan, he a fan, he a fan. He a fan, he a fan, he a freaky, he a 59 God. Freaky, he a 59 God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Freaky, he a 59 God. Freaky, God. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Let me hear you say OV ho. OV. Say OV ho. OV. Step this way, step that way, then step this way, step that way. Are you my friend? Are we locked in? Then step this way, step that way, then step this way, step that way.
All right, now let's get into it. So I asked you before we went through the song to think about what's the message? What are you taking away? So I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the clock. Thoughts. What do you think Kendrick Lamar is trying to say with this song, Not Like Us? Any thoughts?
Stay away from the thoughts. Sorry.
Nah, that he real. He's separating himself from the fake people like he's real. Like basically, that's what I got out of it. Like,
Nice.
Thank you, Darisha.
yeah, he got pride. Like, you know.
Brenda, go ahead, Irene, and then I'm gonna go Claudia and Lisa. Go ahead, Irene.
After reading the lyrics, I was just like, well, maybe it's just a beat. I'm sorry. I mean, whatever was going on inside, the beat sounds nice, got a vibe. I mean, he really sounds really good. But after reading the lyrics, I'm like, what in the hell? I mean, I'm being honest,
Irene, actually, yeah.
It's a message of self-pride, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I mean, the music itself has actually gone viral nationally, right? I mean, so a lot of people vibe to it, and of course, here it is, the music and stuff. Hey, when I go to some of these arenas or whatever, I mean, you hear it, right? It's like it's a vibe. But reading the lyrics, I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, it was mentioning different things. It had some connotation in there. relating to maybe child solicitation. And I mean, I was just like, okay.
Thank you. Thank
I
you,
mean,
Irene.
of
I
course, it
appreciate
doesn't
it.
change the fact
Yeah,
that, just let's just say the headliner, not like us.
I got you.
I mean, it has the headliner there,
Let me
but
get to some other people, Irene. Thank you so much. Claudia, what do you have? And then Lisa, Carla, and we're going to keep going.
But I think he's talking about the posers, people who posing like Drake's from Canada, but sometimes he proclaims that he's from South Central, typical, East Coast, West Coast, but he's none of that. He's Canada. And then some gangsters end up hiding behind God. They go ahead and they start preaching, but they're hiding behind God, and then with the pedophiles and all, there's just a big it's that industry, and he knows what's going on, so he's just kind of letting it all out. He doesn't care. He's going to tell everybody what it's all about.
Right. Thank you for that, Claudia. Carla.
I think it was more like a movement, he's talking about an agenda that's also being pushed on us. And I mean, I listened to a lot of his music and I couldn't tell that that's just his theme. He's giving us these messages that we got to pay attention. And specifically, there's the last paragraph, or one of them, I highlighted it when he's talking about, once upon a time, all of us was in chains and how they're pushing an agenda on us and we're actually still there. They've got the same agenda. It's just time has gone by, but it's different people in power.
Thank you for that, Carla. Some people will say he's keeping it real. All right. Jeff, and then Dorisha, and then Angie, and I'm going to work my way back. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I can't read that fast, but I definitely realized that Drake is a pedophile, and he doesn't want to be like Drake, so he ain't like us. And hope you don't go to cell block 1 because he's gonna get handled.
And there's that. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Dorisha, and then Angie, you're
I
next.
don't know, like I said before, I just think it's about separating himself from fake people, haters, those who don't share his values or talent. It's just a message of self-pride. Like, that's what I get out of it. I don't know.
Yes, thank you for that, Dorisha. Go ahead, Angie, then Michael, and then
I remember reading something that Kendrick had said about it. He said that not like us is the energy of who I am, the type of man I represent. This man has morals, he has values, he believes in something, he stands on something, he's not pondering.
Thank you for that synopsis as well. All right, Michael, what do you have? You're on mute, my friend.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of just stuff going on it's been going on forever, really, if you think about it, but more to light with like the trafficking movement of people and children. Especially during COVID, they were bringing a bunch of stuff out, what was going on, even like archives from like Vatican City and all kinds of other stuff. Anyways, planes that were coming in from the southern border and getting flown with their buses and stuff of these kids being trafficked. I think that song brought about a lot of stuff that's going on. And I think it's hopefully led to some of the stuff going on with Puff Daddy and some other people, R. Kelly. And at the very end of it, you see the owl, and in sex cults, the owl is seen as a symbol for knowledge. So they submit to the person with owl wisdom. And there's also a wolf symbol that they use for keeping all the stuff in the pack quiet. So there's some folks like that.
Thank you for those details, Michael. Go ahead, Lisa, and then Zaire will end with you. Go ahead.
The song was a diss track. It was meant to diss Drake, but not just Drake. He pulled out the people that were with Drake, who were all doing the same things. You talk as if you're empowering your people, but you're preying on them. Preying on them, and you using your fame to do that. So it was definitely mostly about Drake. And
Thank you.
and the fact that him and his crew were preying on young people, underage people.
Mm.
And he wanted to get that message out there.
Lisa. All right, Zaire, you're up. If you could do it quickly, please. And
Okay. Yeah, that was definitely an example of empowerment. When he said they're not like us, he's putting it out there that he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I came up a certain way in industry, like people mentioned, that's taken over so many people. And then they turn around at the same time and they take away so many of our heroes. You can go with Tyson, you can go with R. Kelly, Tupac, MLK, Malcolm goes all the way back. P. Diddy, he might have did that to himself. But then at the same time, I'm gonna expose y'all. The man stays to himself, he stays in his house, he doesn't get caught up in the media. He's letting you know how many stocks do I got? 1, 2, 3. You think we don't, uneducated our heroes, Tyson, even Muhammad Ali, he didn't have as much money, not well educated.
Thank you for bringing back the history in there, Zaire, as well. And now notice the conversation that we just had from one song, right? And Renee mentioned earlier, like the importance of music, and music has been an aspect of culture as long as people have been on this planet, right? And so there's so much that can be used. Once again, I didn't realize that we could use music for learning until I got to college, and I know that that's a privilege that not everyone gets to have that experience, right? And so a lot of what I'm doing with here, I learn in my classes as well. And so there's a reason to there's a method to the madness, right? So music in itself is essential for culture, right? Not everyone vibes to the same music or likes it, but it is important. And so I'm going to use the Kendrick Lamar example for what you're going to do next. And so let me explain what I mean by that. Okay. So the reason I chose this song is because to me, when I heard it, I remember I was in the car, I was driving, and then I was like the beat, and then I was like, there's something here. And then I started doing more research on Kendrick Lamar, who he is as a person. The fact that he got straight A's in high school, he's from Compton. He still acknowledges Compton in his music videos and all these things. There's so many layers to this song. But what I took away, and I'm just saying this is me, Carlos, right, is that when I heard this song, it reminded me about peer support. There was something about it, and that connected with me. And this is why I'm sharing it with all of you. And the reason I share that with you is because the invitation, what you're going to do next as in breakout rooms, is that you and a team of either 3 or 4 are going to collaboratively think about songs that you may already know or research that remind you about peer support. And there is no one way to do this, right? There's so many different types of music, genres, and songs that you can do this. Now, this is what's important. One, you definitely need to collaborate and discuss. I highly encourage every single person to bring up a suggestion and idea of a potential song. But the most important part is that you unanimously choose one together as a team. Okay. If you're able to find the YouTube video link, to go through it, I highly encourage you to do so, because at the end, once you've had this opportunity to research, discuss, and choose a song that relates to peer support, I'm going to ask you to choose a spokesperson that can come back and share, like we can either share about 30 seconds or so of the song and then the analysis, right? And then we're going to come back. I'm going to pause here, see if this makes sense. So can someone unmute themselves, please, and let us know what the heck is Carlos having us do next?
He's having us pick a song that reminds us of peer support, basically. That brings us together, either as a people or culture or what.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's it. What Lisa said. She said it way more to the point than I did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause it. Thank you for that, Amanda.
Okay. Okay, so I can apologize on camera. I'm sorry about my birds. They flew away on me. So just so you know, I have that on camera. I'm sorry about the birds getting away.
Well, and I'm glad they're gone now. Thank you, Amanda. All right. On that note, okay, so the task was for you collectively to find a song that you agree on represents peer support in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully you were able to do that, and you have a spokesperson. Do we have any volunteers who are willing to go first before I randomly just start?
I'm gonna go first real quick. Or
all right, Dorisha.
Ooh, and then
all right,
Jeff,
Dorisha.
Then we had Jeff.
Oh, then, sorry, Dorisha. Sorry. Do you have the YouTube link for your song? Just out of curiosity.
no, I just hurry up and put it on my phone.
That's fine. Okay. Go ahead.
So we decided to go with Lean on Me by Bill Withers. It's about being there for people when they're going through it, just like a peer support specialist does. And then this is the song.
Just might have a problem that you understand. You know, somebody doesn't
Okay, so you guys want me to cut it off? That's good, or
That's good. Anything else you'd like to say, Darisha?
it related to me a lot, but I don't really like going into detail and like to share a lot of personal stuff. But yeah.
All right. I appreciate that, Teresa. Thank you for being the spokesperson, and thank you to Gina, Luz, and Sydney. So that was room 2. All right. Who do we have is willing to go next? All right, Adri.
Jeff
what
had
do
his
you got?
hand. Jeff had his
Oh,
hand.
Jeff.
up.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Just
and
go
then-
Jeff and then Adri. Yeah.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, no, the song prior was also in the mix. But we kind of ran out of time, and we're none of us are really computer literate very well. So we did Simon Garfunkel, Troubled Waters. So I don't know how to give a link to that. I don't know how to bring up a link. I could play it over my phone.
Yeah, you can put it over your phone. That works too. I didn't even think about that. That's genius. So thank you.
when you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them
Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are we good?
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say? Thank you. I've forgotten about that song.
Yeah.
Any
No.
other comments?
Just there's so many good song choices, and but I've never I told my group that I have not associated with any songs with with peer support. So I'll be driving, and maybe Korn has one that I can associate with you guys. So it's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff, and the rest of your team as well. So that was Francesca, Charlene, and Lisette. All right, Lisa Fitzpatrick, you're representing room 3. Angela and Amanda, what do you got?
Okay, so we came up with Greatest Love of All, and also John Lennon Give Peace a Chance. And I put the
Yes,
link
the
to
link
the
in the
song.
chat. Yeah, Renee.
I
Renee's
have
gonna
the
put it.
link. Okay. Was there certain? Okay, let me share this really quick.
Yeah, she's gonna play a little bit.
Okay, here we go. Can you hear?
Yes, thank you.
I can't hear.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's
So anything else you'd like to say about that
So,
song?
so it brings us together about love, with love. It's about love. And if we start off with teaching our kids love, it'll keep us all together as love. And also it was one we wanted to do too, was John Lennon Give Peace a Chance, which had some very good lyrics about all the negativity in the world, but we need to give peace a chance.
Thank you for that, Lisa, and the rest of your team as well. Adri, you're up. Representing your team.
The song, well, I suggested it, and they supported. I chose When I Grow Up by NS. I'm gonna point out a few lyrics and then I'll play a little bit. But it says, I know this probably isn't really realistic, and honestly, I might not ever make a difference, but that don't make a difference. I'm gonna have to risk it. So I think as peer supports, like we try our best to make a difference, but that doesn't always mean that we're going to. And then and I see the odds ain't rooting for me. I can't lie though, that's kind of how I like it to be. The underdog, yeah, you probably think you know what I mean. And so I think a lot of our people that we work with, you know, they're the underdogs. Like, we don't expect them to do things, but we want to help them do things, you know? And then, sorry, one more thing, and then I'll just play a little bit. I know I'm taking a little bit of time.
You're good.
And it says, and I feel like no one really gets me, and it's sad to see, because someday I'm gonna grow up and show all you it's meant to be. You know, perspective from there, like sometimes they don't feel like people understand them, or, you know, and so they, you know, have, you know, they have their feelings. So I'm gonna, can you hear it?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, when I grow up, you know what I want to be? Take a seat. Let me tell you my ridiculous dreams. I want to rap. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe. And I can tell you're already thinking I will never succeed, but I'm okay with it. I admit the lyrics are weak. I've been working on them. I'll be good eventually. I understand you got to crawl before you get to your feet, but I've been running for a while. They ain't ready for me. I know this probably isn't really realistic. And honestly, I'm lining up to make a difference. But that don't make a difference. I'm going to have to risk it. I've been crunching numbers. You ain't got to be a mathematician. And see, the odds ain't rooting for me. I can't lie, though. It's kind of how I like it to be. The underdog. Yeah, you probably think you know what I mean, but what I'm saying is they ever push me, I'm going to split. Yeah, I can go to college getting done like everybody else.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. That was a new one for me, so thank you for that, as well as Deanna and Kylis. All right, Kelvin, you're up, sir.
Oh, hello, everybody. Our group decided on a song by Jamil, and it's called Find Your Tribe. It's a soulful affirmation of belonging, healing, and the power of authentic connection. It encourages the listener to seek out communities that resonate with their truth and support their growth. I have it here. Hold on.
Please do. Beautifully said.
Searching for something that will bring me light. And no matter where I go, people that want to know where I'm going, where it's home. I don't know anymore. I've just been on the road, but I'm thinking I should know. Find your tribe from the other side.
Thank you for that, Kelvin. That's a new song for me. Any other comments before we wrap it up?
No.
Awesome. Well done. Thank you, Carla, as well, and Tanya. All right. Zaire, you up, and then Angie.
All right. Well, we mentioned a lot of great songs that people had in our room. But, you know, I brought up a song. It says, Don't Say Nothing. It's by The Roots. And my children, as far as I can go back, when they were 4 and 5, it was on the CD. It was number 19. We never did, because it's a bootleg, never did know the name of that song at the time. But my kids, and I remember that, you know, Dad played number 19. And there's a point of the song, ask her if she can pull it up. There's a point of the song, well, I don't have it on my phone, but we played it. And it says, don't say nothing, just cut the check. And he's going on, and nobody wants to hear anything. I don't care if you're working part-time, full-time, you're on SSI, you're on GR, whatever that time is, don't say nothing. I don't want to hear anything. Just cut the check. I wish we had that song, but anyway.
I put it in the chat.
You put it in the chat?
Yeah.
So take a listen to it. And you can seem to relate to it. Young, old, even my grandkids.
Renee, do you have it?
Yes, I have
Okay.
it. Let's
Thank
do
you,
it.
Zaire, for setting.
Quick, play it. Renee, this is our speed right here.
Is this it?
That's it, baby. Don't say nothing. Cut the check. That old Night Rider song.
That almighty amazing, ill, highly contagious, kamikaze sound splash like a from a into your body sound. Bit of the class, magna cum laude beats, bring the beats out me, flagrant, foul, rowdy, read pipe, a deep type. Disposition, keep on flipping, keep on playing they position, keep making the people listen what I spit. Put them out on the limb, got tears, got blood, got sweat, leaking out of the pit. Your fate is not setting the trend, you never listen to them. It's like
I've trained so many people playing this song, and just to realize my kids, I'm a grandfather, and we go back, me, my wife, my son, dad, play number 19. I don't care. As long as you learn currency, everybody can relate, because we don't want to hear anything with SSIG or whoever. I don't care. When the time comes, don't say nothing. Just cut that shit. You know, we talking about society and everything. It all boils down to the
Thank
Almighty
you.
God.
Appreciate that, Zaire. Appreciate that. And the rest of your team. All right, Angie, what do you have for us? And then we're gonna go to Charles.
We picked Dig by Incubus. The song's about friendship, accountability, and emotional healing. It's the kind of connection where somebody truly sees you and helps you find yourself again when you've lost your way. And Renee's gonna play it for us.
All right, here we go.
We all have a weakness. Some of ours are easy to identify. Look me in the eye and ask for forgiveness. Or make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend. We all have something that digs at us. At least we dig each other. So when weakness
Nicely done. Any final thoughts, Angie?
Yeah, I wanted to say that was Michael's choice, by the way, and so thank you, Michael. And also, Irene, she really helped us by keeping the time, so she did wonderful for us. She was awesome. So I just wanted to say thank you, and that's all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angie, and the rest of your team. Collaborative effort. All right, Sir Charles, you're up, sir.
Well, we had Lean on Me, but we knew somebody was gonna steal that one, so we had a backup.
Well done.
And ours is Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Okay.
And we all decided that's a song of I think it's Claudia, the one that picked that song. I'm not sure, but it's a endearment and just encouraging words and just uplifting, inspiring. And we decided we're gonna sing it for you. You guys ready?
Please do.
Yeah.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high,
Ain't no
valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you
You
need me, call me.
me. No
I'll be
matter
there.
where you are, no
No
matter
matter
how
how
far.
far. Everybody.
Don't worry, baby, just call my
Call my
name.
name.
I'll be
I'll
there
be
in a hurry.
Cause baby,
You
there
don't have to, ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low
enough.
Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you.
To you.
baby.
Round of applause, y'all.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, that is
Thank
the
you.
first we're recording this,
That-
right? This is right.
Yes, I was gonna ask Renee because Renee's been doing this longer than I have with Caps. That's the
Oh.
first time. Thank you.
Yeah.
That just filled my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh my
Because I
God.
can't
Okay,
sing to
the
save my life.
backstory on that is that Charles started singing, and I was like, you have an amazing voice. Like, we are not pulling up YouTube for this. We are gonna sing this. And we literally spent like 10 out of the 15 minutes just singing those two songs, Lean on Me and Ain't No Mountain High. And it's like laggy with Zoom, but it was so fun. So thank you, Charles. Thanks,
That
Claudia.
was awesome.
Claudia.
That is beautiful. Y'all making history here. Thank you, thank you. All right. I want to make sure we didn't miss any teams because I know we're going out of order. So if we did, please let me know right now. So I want to make sure we play your song. Did we miss any teams? Going once. Acapella history. I love that. Okay. Jody, yes.
Well, our team didn't really get onto a song, but we threw a couple out there. Brenda had put something from 1-800-Logic. I can't remember the
Oh,
name.
yeah.
Arabella said one. I can't remember the name. They were both. But, I was thinking of This Is America by Childish Gambino because it really speaks to all of us. And then the other one I was thinking of after our group was The Prey, How to Save a Life. If Renee, if you could bring that up, it's
Which one?
Bray.
Bray?
Oh, The Fray. No, The Fray
The
with
Fray.
an F.
Okay.
Yeah, How to Save a Life. That
All right.
really speaks to it. I was trying to think of it. My husband helped me on thinking about that one, but there was one. Arabella said one that was a rap one, but that was good. That we were throwing them around. Also said, um, um, what's that one? We Are the World.
Oh,
Now I'm aging myself.
Those are good ones. Those are classic
all
ones.
right.
Arabella
I
said
have it.
City
You have it?
High. That's
Okay.
the
Okay,
one.
I'm ready to get it. And then I have one from room 9, another one after this.
Perfect. All right.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Step one, you say we need to talk. He walks.
And it's talking about suicide, by the way, on this song.
Talk. He smiles politely back at you. You stare politely right on through some sort of window to your right. As he goes left and you stay right between the lines. Fear and blame. You begin to wonder why you came. Where did I go?
Okay, cool. That was
Perfect. Thank you for that, Jody. Thank you, Renee, for the assist.
all right.
And
Then
I
we
think
have
you said there was one more. I think.
yeah, from room 9, Carla, Kelvin, and
Yep.
Tana. And
Okay. Breathe.
correct?
Is that what it? By Alexi Murdoch. Is that it?
Yes, right?
Perfect.
Or is it?
Yeah, I wanted to add that one just on my own. We didn't talk about it in the group.
Okay.
There we go. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear it? Oh, I like that. I like the guitar.
In the quiet of a shadow, in the corner of a room, darkness moves upon you like a cloud across the moon. You're aware in all the silence of a constant that will turn, like the windmill left.
Carla, would you mind saying in a few words why you chose this song, please?
Yeah. So Alexi, for me, the way that I interpret the song is when you're drowning in your loneliness and there's just so much going through your mind. Sometimes we forget to just breathe and it's gonna be okay. Like there's so much going on that we feel that there's no way out. Well, breathing brings you back to reality and tells you it's temporary. It's the way we see things sometimes. That's the way I interpret the song.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
I appreciate your interpretation, right? We're everything with our breath, we're nothing without it. So thank you for that. Thank you all for being open and flexible with this. And it comes back to connection. And I know Renee echoed that earlier today, right? And so sometimes something that may seem trivial or simple as a song may actually be a bridge between you and the person you're trying to help and serve, right? And so when we're looking at culture and structure is how can we connect with each other? How can we learn? How can we grow? And now notice you all were given the same prompt, right? Find a song about peer support and look at all the beautiful pathways that unfolded. Yeah, there's some repeats like Lean on Me, which are classics, etc. But there's some new ones as well, like the one Carla introduced. So hopefully now you have another, you can use this tool in your toolkit when you're working with a peer to connect, hey, with colleagues, you know, and Renee does a really good job about infusing music in our trainings as well. And so this is something to kind of help build and help us understand that we're complex human beings, right? We're more than just one thing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause this here. All righty, thank you for that, Renee. Okay, so once again, remember when we're talking about culture and structure, right? A lot of it is getting creative and open to expression, human expression. Okay, so now before we go into the next breakout room activity, we're going to go in through some key terminology. And what I want to mention is I spoke to an alumni who took the exam today, and is also, he works at us with Project Return. And he said, and he's a third alumni recently to tell me that what tripped them up on the exam were the key terms, the vocabulary, right? And understanding how that works within the question. And so once again, if we're repeating certain terms because we know that they're significant when it comes to the exam, but more importantly, when it comes to our work in the field. Okay, so just keep that as a friendly reminder. So let me get back into the presentation and let's go through some key terms first, and then we're going to get into some other stuff. It's going to be fun. So when it comes to culture, think of, you know, the focus, the water right that we had. Who are you, right? So it's everything, right? Culture in itself is passed down from family. It is also something that we can choose to participate. There's, you know, larger cultures, there's subcultures, right? And it can go in many ways, but it can come to language, way of dress, communication styles, as well as faith. You know, food is an obvious one, music, we talked about. Everything and anything that makes us human relates back to culture, right? And yes, you can belong to more than one culture, right? And so there's a lot of that heterogeneity as well, and that makes up that sometimes can get confusing, but if you remember that it's all encompassing, it's actually part of the same. Okay, so we're going to start off with that understanding of culture in itself, all of these aspects. Okay? Now, here's the big one. I talked about intersectionality. This is important. And the reason it's important, it comes back to the questions of who are you? How do you know you are who you claim to be? Well, we as a society, as a world, we've done a really good job of creating labels and identities for ourselves and for other people, right? But for example, if I'm talking to someone, let's say Claudia, and all I focus on is her role as a mother, I'm missing who she is completely as a human being, right? If I look at Charles and I talk to him as being a man, I'm still missing certain parts of that. So in other words, intersectionality, what it reminds us is that at any point in our lives, at any day, any second, we are more than just one category. We're all in there. At times we focus, depending on our work, depending on what we're doing, but it's important to be mindful that we are complex human beings and that all of these factors, race, ethnicity, gender, class, language, religion, ability, sexual orientation, sexuality, mental health, age, education, body size, all these things are constantly working within us, right? And especially depending on how we were raised, how we experience these categories, they definitely impact our identity as well. Okay, so when we're working with a peer, yes, we may have a particular, you know, angle or a particular job to do with them, but it helps to be mindful of what else they bring to the table, right? Practicing person-centered language, as well as looking at strengths-based to kind of help meet what that person needs in that moment. Okay? And then we're going to get into privilege in a moment. So intersectionality. Okay, good so far? Yeah, okay. Now, along with that is this idea that we as peer support specialists, I keep talking about the code of ethics, which you're bound by as soon as you take and pass the exam, is this competence, right? So this idea that, look, there is no one way to live this life because there are over 8 billion people and none of us are the same. But there are certain common threads and, you know, and certain reflections that we can do. But diversity is in our DNA, right? It's always been there and it will always be there. Let's honor it. Let's value it. Along with that is really kind of checking in with ourselves. Hey, how much do I know about this culture? Like, I would not pretend to know about a culture that I do not belong with, because then that'd be being a hypocrite. This is where the art of questioning comes in, the art of doing your homework, the art of figuring out what you need to know about a person's culture and their background. And the idea here is also which cultures kind of get promoted and which ones don't, which languages do, which ones don't. This comes into the idea of structure, right? Structure, all the systems that are in place as well, the schooling structure, the political structure, the economic structure, the religious structure, the social structure, it goes on and on and on. And so which ones are applauded, which ones are celebrated, which ones are maybe missed out on. And then lastly, looking at how do we adapt to a person's needs? So let's say for me in my culture, it's actually respectful to look Renee at the eye when I'm talking with her. But maybe in Renee's culture, it's actually disrespectful to look at me in the eye, right? And so I may be thinking she's being rude, but she's actually thinking I'm being rude, right? And so sometimes when we're helping, we're actually hurting if we don't know kind of what the needs are culturally as well, and more importantly, of the person themselves. So along with cultural competence, and I truly believe humility is essential for our line of work and just to be people in general, is this idea of cultural humility, right? May someone please unmute themselves and read the definition on the left in yellow for cultural humility? Please and thank you.
I could read it. Cultural humility is a process of self-reflection and discovery in order to build honest and trustworthy relationships. It offers promise to researchers to understand and eliminate health disparities, a continual and disturbing problem necessitating attention and action on many levels.
Says Carla. So this idea here to be humble, to be to practice humility is to actually honor and reverence the individual, right? Because we're learning about people and we're learning about backgrounds, especially once again, if it's new, right? To us in our work and even in our lives as well. So humility, essential value as a peer support specialist. Okay. Now, these are, I said earlier that, hey, if you want to become smarter, ask yourself questions, right? Our brains processes information. If, for example, you just say it in a statement versus if you put it in a question, right? And so these Clayman's 8 questions are, don't be surprised if these type of questions show up on the exam because these are very foundational in a sense as well, right? So notice that a lot of them focusing on what is happening, right? So what do you call this the problem? What do you think caused it? Why do you think it happened? What do you think it does? Excuse me. How severe is the situation? What kind of treatment? And so we're constantly trying to pull out more information to help provide the best support, right? What are the problems? What are the chief issues of the problems? And lastly, what do you fear the most? Remember, fear is hardwired, right? Fear is something that we are consciously need to work on. Otherwise, it can definitely slow us down to accomplish what we need to do. So these questions, once again, are more for the exam themselves, but the art of questioning is universal when it comes to peer support and us as people as well. Okay. Any questions so far? I know I'm kind of going fast, but I want to be able to get to the next activity, which is going to be a good one. All right. All right. So this is what we're going to get into next. So before I start describing the next activity, I'm going to say kind of more of the obvious. And so I'm going to thank you in advance for trusting the process here. Okay. And what I'm going to say is the following. Actually, I'm going to ask you to respond in the chat. I'm going to put a question. And I'm also, as I'm typing, I'm going to say it out. So what comes to mind when you think of term privilege? And then feel free to reply in the chat. What comes to mind when you think of the word privilege? Okay, you got it, Amanda. Thank you for communicating. All right, I'm going to just stop this share real quick so I can read your responses. So we have an opportunity, money, an undeserved advantage, someone who is worthy to have, having access to resources that are not available to the general population. Think about how I can use mine to support others, to deserve. Give a few more seconds. Okay. Racism, abundant support, fortunate, stability. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And if you can keep them coming as well, as I'm going to come back here. So thank you for those automatic responses and for keeping it real as well. So this next activity, I'll be honest with you, it can be challenging because we're going to deal with a very taboo topic, right? those things that are real, but we tend to, and privilege is one of those, right? And so I want to thank you in advance for being open for this process and know that there is a method to the madness, right? And so the idea, what we're going to do next is as follows. So in a moment, Renee's going to send you into breakout rooms. You'll have about 3 or 4 people. You're going to have about 10 minutes, and you're going to be assigned a room with a budget. So let's say you're in room 1 and it says 100, that's your budget. If you're in a room that says 200, that's your budget. 300 and 400, so on and so forth. What you're going to do with your budget, your allotted amount, is that you as a team collectively and unanimously need to decide how are you going to spend your budget purchasing a privilege or privileges. Each privilege that you choose to purchase costs $100, right? There's a list of privileges here. This is not exhaustive. The main ones that we hear is race, class, gender, sexual orientation, religion, health. There are ones that have not been listed here that you can definitely incorporate. What's really important here is that we practice, right, cultural humility, but also really have a good discussion, right, of which privileges you want to focus on, and then which one or which ones are you going to choose to purchase. And the kicker is always why, right? Why are you choosing to do that in there? And then we're going to come back and then we're going to share what each team has decided to do with their budget. And then please, friendly reminder to choose a spokesperson to report back to the nightcappers. Okay. Questions or comments about what you're going to do next?
Carlos, would you like me to bring up the privileges, the sheet?
Oh yeah,
Everyone
do you
should
have it?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have
So
Yeah,
it was
please do.
in your pre-work assignment. So let me open
Yes.
this up really quick and show you all. If you don't have it, just
Yes, Michael.
all right. So here we go. We have white privilege, religious privilege, gender, heterosexual, socioeconomic, and able-bodied.
And then this is part of the pre-work that you were assigned. So thank you, Renee, for making that connection. And remember, this is not an exhaustive list, right? And so once again, the idea is to collaboratively think about which privilege or privileges you believe are important or the most important, and then to budget it out as well. How are you going to spend your money? You're going to say
Each
something else?
privilege is $100.
Is $100, exactly.
Each privilege, yeah.
Each privilege is $100. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments before we go in?
Michael had one in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right.
Synonymous with racism there, Michael. Okay. But I get where you're coming from. So thank you for pointing that out. Let me pause. All right, y'all. Now this is where it starts to get interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna go in order, and actually, because there's 8 teams, 8 breakout rooms, I'm gonna start with the budgets, the least to the highest, right? So the lowest budget was $100 that then got switched into, 50% off. So then you could buy up to 2, right? And then there's 200, 300, and the ballers of the group are the 400. So let's start off.
Daddy.
So let's start off with the 100 groups, and the 100, I'm going to start with A. So Adri, Dorisha, Irene, Lisette, who's your spokesperson? What did you all decide and why? Please and thank you.
I think I was voted. Okay, so we mainly talked about the social economic privilege and the religious privilege. Because sometimes religion and culture have a lot to do with what people can or cannot do, so, and the way they live. And the social economic, because of just having the necessary means and being able to be stable and being able to do the things that you may not be able to if you didn't have the money for it.
Yep. Thank you for that, Lisette, and for your team. So to reiterate, socioeconomics and religion. All right, let's go with the $100 group: Arabella, Jeffrey, Jody, and Kylis.
So we picked socioeconomic as well as able-bodied privilege. We want to give it out there. We want people to be able to get resources.
Straight to the point. Thank you, Jody. So socioeconomics and then able-bodied. All right. So Starting to see a pattern develop there. So those are the 100s. Now let's go on to the 200s. Let's start with Team A. Angela, Angie, Carla, and Michael. What did you all conclude?
Am I really doing this?
Please do, and thank you.
All right, so we're gonna spend our $200. We got 4 things we're gonna do. 1 share of able-bodied, and we're gonna triple up our shares on socioeconomic, so that we're 3 times more socioeconomic richer than everybody else, and that is gonna cover us for our gender and our religious beliefs. We'll just trump that avenue right there.
Boom. Whoop, there it is. All right, thank you for that. So once to reiterate, able-bodied and socioeconomics times 3, right? All right, let's see what the other $200 group decided. So let's go to boom, 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 B, Charlene, Edie, Jeff, and Samantha. What did you all decide?
Man, I like Michael's idea. That was nice. Okay. We chose as a group white privilege, gender privilege, socioeconomic, obviously, and able body. I think with those 4, the sky's the limit on and now was this for the United States of America or the world?
However you took it.
Okay.
However you took it.
So, and that's the general privileges that you can pretty much go anywhere without being persecuted. So that's what we voted on, and that's what we picked.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff, for that summary events. Move along now to the 300s. Okay, the rich but not the wealthy. All right, so here we go. 300A, Claudia, Deanna, Francesca, Stephanie. What do you got?
So we decided to keep ours at 100 to get quality privilege, as opposed to discounted privilege. And we chose religious privilege, gender privilege, and socioeconomic. And the religious is just, to have your faith be seen as a part of your life that is as important as your job, and you know what I mean. So getting those breaks or days off for holidays, or if your church goes on a lot of retreats to other countries, that would allow for you to take part in those things and not feel like, oh, I'm missing out on my work or whatever. For gender privilege, we just said, because we were all women in the group, it just would be nice to be a woman in the workforce getting the same type of treatment, same type of start point as men, money wise, and not have to deal with the other ugly parts of women in the workforce that they sometimes deal with, like sexual harassment or things of that nature, And then the last one we chose was socioeconomic. And we just said, just to be able to be comfortable, wake up every day and know that you have what you need, and you're not stressed out about, oh, I don't got no money, or, just to have that at a base level and then go from there. It would be nice to do, because then at least in the sense of your comfortability and your living, you don't have to stress on that end, because it can be really stressful even with kids. So
thank you for that, Stephanie. Scarcity is a real thing, right? So to reiterate, religion, gender, and socioeconomics, and you kept them at 100, so you just doubled up. Thank you for that. All right, let's go to the ballers of the group, the 400s. Sarah, Tanya, Zahir, what did y'all decide with your $400?
Well, I'll go ahead and be the spokesman of the group. First, we chose able-bodied, of course. Everybody wants to be in good health. That's the most important. Socioeconomics, got to be able to function in society. So we had agreement on social. Religious, economics, that's one of our privileges. And the last one after that, it was we kind of teetered back and forth. And, gender and all that. To me, I'm not judging. So we chose, heterosexuality. And then when you came and said they were half off, then it was a little bit of a rough. Me personally, I like to be a team player, and I struggled with it because it would benefit the white privilege. But me personally, I didn't like the way he started off. I couldn't. So I'm just saying, in all reality, I wouldn't vote for that. So I had an idea why, instead of arguing over the ones we didn't, I said double up, but I like Mike, he said triple up. So I said, why don't we double what we already have, the privileges that we already have? Then why don't we buy, double of those instead of spending any money on the ones we didn't like, But then naturally, so said, I want them all, because we balling, that's how people think. I said naturally, but I struggle with that,
Okay.
you understand?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
want them all.
Okay. No, thank you for the explanation, Zaire. And so thank you. So once again, able-bodied, socioeconomics, religious, and then at the end, I think you said heterosexuality.
Yes,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Zaire. And thank you for that. 408 team. Last but not least, 400B, Charles, Jenna, and Luz. What did y'all decide?
Hi, everyone. We decided to get racial, gender, sexual orientation, able-bodied, socioeconomic, religious, citizenship, and beauty. And to be honest, at first we did thought about it a lot, like when we had the 4 options. But then when we had the 50%, we're like, we have the money, so let's just add more, right? It was kind of that thought that we had as a group, right? So we just added a little bit more to the list.
Could you repeat that list one more time again, Luz, please?
Oh, sorry. The privileges,
Yes.
racial,
Uh-huh.
gender,
Yes.
sexual orientation,
Mm-hmm.
able-bodied,
Able-bodied. Okay.
socioeconomic,
Gotcha.
religious,
Okay.
citizenship,
Citizenship.
citizenship,
Mm-hmm.
and beauty.
And beauty. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, so much. And I just realized I skipped the group, so you got to go
Yeah,
back. Now, thank you for that, Renee.
Good.
300B, Amanda, Kelvin, and Sydney. My bad.
Oh, all right. Uh, so I don't think that we were playing Jeopardy correctly. But I think the easiest life would be being a white male and in a nice neighborhood. But we decided that we're cool with where we're at, and we would invest our money in a nice Roth IRA if possible. No, seriously, Jeopardy wasn't working.
Investing. Awesome. Thank you for that. To reiterate, religion, gender, socioeconomics, and then investing, which is a privilege if you have money to invest. Awesome. And thank you for that.
Nice.
Last but not least now, 400B. So let's go to Charles, Jenna, and no, Lucid, sorry.
Yeah.
And then that was the last one that we needed.
Yeah,
We got it.
that was it.
Okay, perfect. All right. So commonalities, threads, socioeconomic, every single team chose that. The next one that came into, and you all didn't communicate amongst your teams, obviously, outside of your teams. The other one that was very common is also able-bodied. Really interesting. We've been doing this activity with many cohorts. Couple observations. One, when I went into each breakout room, there was a difference between the teams that had $100, $200, $300, and $400. What I observed, the people that had higher budget were a little more relaxed. The ones that had less money were a little more like tense figuring out, especially if you only had $100, right? Michael, brought up the idea of tripling up, right? Which is like, hey, we're going to double up, which is great. Till date, and we've done this with multiple cohorts. Out of all the teams, there's only been one team that has willingly decided, hey, we have a larger budget. We're going to donate some of our money to another team that has less.
Ooh.
Only one team out of the whole year, out of multiple cohorts has said that, right? Just an observation, right? And this is why as challenging as this topic is, it's also for me exciting because it's real, right? This is where we're at. This is our world, right? And so,
right.
Renee, anything else you want to share? You want to chime in?
No,
Okay.
that was the first time I've heard anyone double up, actually.
Double and triple up. Michael's like triple
I was
up.
like, dang.
This is the first
That was
time we
really-
also had the Nightcappers, a bunch of firsts tonight, a cappella, investing. That's the first time, that as a privilege that's come up, to have enough money to invest and make your money multiply in that way.
See that
right?
Cash App?
Michael. Sure, I'll send you my Monopoly money or my pennies, whichever one you like. So here's, I would like to open it up to you all. And first of all, let me thank you, because this is not an easy activity to do without trust and communication and respect. So thank you, because obviously we live in a world where privilege is a very complex reality as well. Would anyone like to share any final thoughts before we start to wrap this up in terms of this activity? Either how it went, any questions you have, any ideas? Go ahead, Jody.
I feel, even though white privilege is a serious thing and gender privilege is a serious thing, I feel like they shouldn't be on the board. That white privilege, it should be all race privilege because it shouldn't be just about white privilege. I feel it's so negative having that white privilege. And then gender privilege. I know women are paid less than men. However, why don't we break those gender roles and not have any privilege for one sex to the other?
For being open and honest, Jody. I can definitely empathize where you're coming from. That definitely. Go ahead,
Is it-
Stephanie. Stephanie, and then I'll come back to you, Irene. Go ahead, Stephanie.
I think with these privileges and what they mean, realistically, the only way that we probably would even begin to move away from that type of society is if we stop labeling things and people as being certain, you know what I mean? Because when you say white privilege, it's automatically a label and it's a privilege given to, but it's only describing a type of way that you view them. It's not necessarily um how they function, you know what I mean? Because it says in there that they're oblivious oftentimes to that privilege that they have, but it's automatically given because of the color of the skin. And some of these privileges, they've become so automatic for people in society that it just, you don't even realize when you're partaking in that type of privilege, or when you're feeding into it, or when you're taking advantage of it as well, because there's I mean there's a number of privileges if you want to put a label on them. There's even privileges for addicts, you know what I mean? Or it's like people with disabilities get a privilege because they get a check every month, whereas I don't get one because I'm not disabled, and so my work, if you don't have a job and you're not disabled, then what do? You don't have that privilege, you know what I mean? And so you put a privilege to anybody, it's just how you view it. And I think with the labels that we have, that's kind of where they stem from. And there's just people trying to understand how society and the functions of these things are working for the people.
Definitely, Stephanie. Hashtag intersectionality, right? This is why we focus on that part of our identity. Thank you for that. Edie, what do you have? You're on mute, my friend.
I think it's just important to kind of reiterate how privilege isn't a bad thing. And I hear it's like, oh, when I heard Jody say we should take it off, but it's almost like, is it because you feel like and I'm asking rhetorically, like it's a bad thing? Because to me, privilege is just something, it's an unearned benefit that we're born with. So for example, I'm a light-skinned Latina and I know I get a lot of privilege for being light-skinned. My sister's darker skin. And there was a very noticeable difference in how we got treated. It doesn't make me a bad person that I have light skin, but I can leverage my privilege to speak out against some of these isms that have really impacted my sister and people that I care about. So I love if we can acknowledge our privilege so that we can actually leverage it to support others who don't have the same privileges. So it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Edie. Irene, did you have something to comment?
It's okay.
Okay, no worries. Thank you,
Yes,
Irene.
it's okay. Thank you.
You're good. So let me ask you this. I'm going to flip it a little bit. Okay. Think about your experience in CAPS thus far, right? And honestly, raise your hand if you think that being in CAPS in this cohort, the Nightcappers, is a privilege. That this training in itself is a privilege. And if you don't agree, that's fine too. But look around the room, right? And the reason I'm posing this question to you all, it didn't come from me. It came from a fellow student peer like yourselves, right? And since that question was asked, it kind of, a light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, I definitely think CAPS is a privileged experience because the majority of society will never have this opportunity, right? And so going back to Edie's point, there is something to be said about a lens, right? I'm going to pause here because there's a lot of other comments that I want to get to. All right, so let's start off, Charlene, and then I'm going to continue. Charlene, do you still have your hand up?
No, I was just you asked the
Oh,
question.
yes, gotcha. Thank you. All right, no worries. And then Arabella, did you have a question or comment, or were you just agreeing? Or
I was agreeing, but I was thinking it's not necessarily like that the privilege is a negative thing. It's how the labels are put on individuals, and like even like on social media, people will like go back and like shame people or what's the word, like degrade someone for, you know, color of skin or socioeconomic status or whatever. And I think it's really important that we just operate in kindness and like community support. And I think that would help solve like this hate towards privileges, because there are a lot of privileges, like Edie was saying.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Arabella. Yeah, and for promoting love over hate. I really appreciate that. Deanna, and then Adri, and then Wendell Zaire. Go ahead, Deanna. Or did you just have your hand up, Deanna? Or before?
I think I had it up by accident. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure. It's all right. We're almost at the end of it. We're almost there. Adri, what do you have?
I was also gonna say, like, I think like appreciating like the opportunity is like, for instead of looking at all the things you don't have, look at the things you do have, you know, and the things that you could have, like or even just like different like privileges. Like I think also this is interesting, but like at age, I think sometimes people can like look at you and look at you wrongly for how old you are, or how young
Ageism.
you are, you know, and it's like it's a real thing, you know. Like I definitely like experienced that a lot because I'm young, you know, so like I try to not disclose that, but it just kind of sucks because like I can't, you know, talk about that. So I guess like being open about like if you said like how like light skinned you are, right? Like, or how dark, like sometimes like you're not Mexican enough for them, you're not white enough for them. Like it's not, you know, it's just this off like weird thing. So yeah, I don't know if that made sense.
No, it does. And I appreciate you reminding us of ageism, right? It can be if you're too young, you're too old, depending on the scenario and the situation. And so once again, thank you all for going on this journey with Renee and I, because we know how sensitive these topics can be, but culture and structure are essential. We're all part of it, right? And then privilege is real, but a few of you mentioned it's also what you choose to do with that privilege. I know that as a heterosexual male, I have certain privilege because of who I am, right? And that's why it's important for me that as a man, and I struggle with the category of being labeled as a man because I'm just not built the same way that men supposedly are. But it's important for me to use my privilege when I can to benefit others, right? But that requires awareness and choices and decisions in there. And so it isn't so black and white, all good, all bad. But there's also a lot of work that we need to do, right? To move away from hate and go towards love. And so thank you once again. Hopefully you were able to kind of, you know, get some thinking going about how culture and structure work. And then I'm going to pass it off to Renee before we wrap it up.
Right on. Is Angela still in here? Angelina?
Angela going once, going twice.
She had something to share
Oh,
with everyone.
I don't know. It wasn't me. I don't know if it was Angie, which is
Oh,
Angelina.
Angie. Yeah. Thank you. No, she's
Oh.
not. Okay. She had something
Okay.
to share with everyone. She's not here. But anyway,
Okay.
thank you, everyone.
Yeah. And on that note, y'all, so please remember to complete your class evaluations. And then tomorrow will be our last day before graduation, which is on Monday. So it's around the corner and we're really excited. And this is just a friendly reminder to embrace the time that we have together right in there. And so thank you so much. Please be good and kind to yourself, pour back into yourselves, do what you need to do to reset. And then we'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Have yourselves a